her for sharing your experiences with our class. So in this class, we will have more than 100 students who would like to know your entrepreneurial best practices. Over to you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shahnas, for inviting me to speak to the students. I hope that I can or we can have an interactive session. Let me share a bit on this particular topic that has been given to me, which is the importance of networking and persistence. A bit about my background. There's a list here, but what I'd like to focus on, which is related to the topic, is in 2018, I won the Outstanding Entrepreneurship Mentor Award, which was awarded by the Ministry of Education. This is an entrepreneurial award, and I believe I won the award because of the work that I've done developing a network and also an ecosystem, as well as linkages with companies for the university students to be linked to the companies, as well as our involvement in research, in entrepreneurship education, etc. Right? So I just like to highlight that in this particular slide because it has a lot of bearing on the topic that we are discussing today. A bit about my business background and company information. So for the past several years, we've been developing a consortium which we call as PAVO Consortium. And PAVO is a word, is a Latin word which means the constellation of the southern sky. It also means stars. So our aspiration is to build stars. And these stars are entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, next generation leaders of family businesses. These are our stars that we like to build. In the consortium, currently, there are several companies, including Prima Alam Technologies, Bina Pavo, which is the brand name that we use for K-Commerce Malaysia Sendang Berhad. And then there is a wholly owned subsidiary of K-Commerce, which is called Bina Pavo Data Intelligence Sendang Berhad. Then there's also Asia Tech Education Sendang Berhad. And there's Drone Skills Sendang Berhad and Wellnuts Sendang Berhad. So these are companies which are within our consortium, and this is where we develop the partnership and each of these companies have other partnerships as well. So because of these aggregated partnerships and relationships, therefore we build a network, right? A network of companies where we share the same vision, share the same mission and values. Why is it important to build networks, right? I think most importantly, one of the main reasons is to capture and refine business opportunities, because one company alone or one startup alone may not be able to capture and shape a feasible or viable opportunity, business opportunity. Therefore, you need collaborations, you need partnerships. And in our case, we develop a consortium. So when we engage a client or customers or the government or the industries, we advocate on our consortium. Right? And another important reason for building networks is to assemble resources, because within one company, you may not have sufficient resources. So you have to acquire resources or assemble resources, and the ability to assemble resources which are unique from other companies or which are unique from your competitors will give you competitive advantage, right? So these resources may come within your organization, and it can also be outside your organization. So when we build a consortium or when we build partnerships or relationships for business, then we will be able to acquire resources outside of our organization, outside of our organization or group of companies or consortium of companies. There are two terms that I can share that you may want to reflect on. One is what we call as OPP, other people's people, right? So resources in terms of people. And actually talent is scarce, right? Talent is limited nowadays. And with advancements of technology, and now we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, we are talking about trends in AI, in big data. So the talent that is required for companies to move forward is getting very challenging. You know, you need different skill sets, multiple skill sets within your organization, and to employ directly this talent and resources, you must have capital, right? Financial capital, which can come from within your company, or it can come from investors, or through debt financing, like bank financing and so on. But again, is to retain the talent and human capital. So by creating partnerships, by building networks, then you can still leverage on other people's people, which is the main asset of any organization. Another term other than OPP is OPR, other people's resources, right? And OPM, other people's money, right? So, you know, when you talk to investors, why you talk to investors? To raise funds. You talk to banks to also acquire funding. So these are other people's money that you may need to assemble as well in order for you to run your business and to shape business opportunities. Then you need to expand your organization to the industry, into the industry. You need to develop supply chain, not just at the local level, but also at the global level if you are doing international business. And you need to be able to move, digitally or physically, right? So you need the infrastructure, you need the system, you need the processes, right? So by leveraging on your network, the social capital that is being built, then you can expand your supply chain. And another factor that you need to consider is patience capital, because building networks, building partnerships, even having partners to come into your company as investors or shareholders, it requires a lot of patience, and it is a very challenging task. You cannot get results overnight. So you need to be persistent over a long period of time. So patience capital is also another type of capital that entrepreneurs require. So there are two types of network. One is called the strong ties. Strong ties is your relationship with family, with friends, with your relatives, with people who are considered close to you. And the other The other term is weak ties. Weak ties in network is your relationship with external parties, collaborators, external partners, um, and this is your acquaintances, meaning they are not close to you, very close to you. Right. Let's talk about strong ties. Why is it important to have strong ties? Why is it important to have support from your family, from your parents, from your siblings, from your uncle and aunties, your relatives, your close friends, right? Because especially in entrepreneurship, you need emotional support. You don't just need financial support. You also need other resources. But one thing that we tend to forget is the need for emotional support, right? So emotional support is important so that we can be happy. No, we cannot do business or be an entrepreneur or be involved in entrepreneurship alone, right? We need support. And the support can come directly or indirectly. And if we have this emotional support, then we become happier as an individual, as a person. And when we are happy, then we will have better mental health, because in entrepreneurship or being involved in innovation, trying to create businesses or ventures is very challenging. It can be very stressful, so it can affect your mental health. So you need to have a balance of physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, and mental health, right? And also uh, financial health, right? So in order for you to advance as a person or as an individual, and later on you want to get married and so on, to have children, to have a family, then it is important to have a good relationship, strong relationship, build a strong relationship with your family, your spouse, your children, your siblings, your friends. Don't forget your friends, because all this requires you to make time. You need to invest your time. You cannot take your family members, your spouse, your partner for granted, right? You need to invest your time. You need to make effort to build the relationship. And what is very important as a foundation of building a strong relationship, even though you may have strong ties, you have a relationship, you may regard that your relationship with your siblings, with your parents is strong, but you still need to develop trust, right? Trust is very important, right? Trust is the foundation of creating a business, because you cannot do it alone. You need a team. You need people to come and share your vision and mission, to pursue your dream, right? You need people. You need talent. You need to create a team. Then you need to collaborate with partners and so on. You need to earn respect, because if your staff does not respect you, or you do not respect your leader, then the organization may decline, may there will be conflicts and there will be chaos, right? Because there's no respect. And why there's no respect, there's no trust. So at the same time, you want to be yourself, and you need to have positive intent, right? But at the core is trust. This is an example of I can say that, and I am very happy. I'm very grateful that I have a good team, right? That I have built a good team, and this team at Bina Pavo, which is the firm, the brand name of the firm that I founded, is developed together with my wife, Dr. Leilani, right? So she's a family member. And Emilio Daniel at the bottom, you can see that's our son, and he is already in the business with us. So our business is a family business. So we have a family member in the business, which is our son, and also Aimi Hafiza is my daughter-in-law, who is also now in the business, who is married to Emilio, and Sharina. Sharina is my wife's auntie, right? So the cousin of my mother-in-law. So these are family members in my team, right? And Dr. Eric was a colleague of mine in another organization. And when we started Asia Tech Education, so he was offered to be the CEO and also a shareholder of Asia Tech Education. So Dr. Eric is a strong tie, a friend, a colleague, who has also become a partner in one of my companies, which is Asia Tech Education. Then Abdul Razak Yahya is a student. He was my student before. So I have been an entrepreneur. I have been an educator up to the level of professor for 25 years. So I resigned from the university 2 years ago. So for the past 2 years, I've been fully focused on developing the consortium that I shared earlier. But for the previous 25 years, I developed the companies while working in the university. So I was an academic entrepreneur. I was also an entrepreneurship educator, a management educator, business educator. And I've been a family business advisor for the past, perhaps I can say 15 years. You know, I was also from a family business. So Razak did his master's and currently he's doing his PhD at the university which I was affiliated with. So I identified Razak as a potential talent that I brought into the company. And Aliza Abdullah is a friend of Leilani. So Aliza was in school with Leilani before, secondary school. And then I think maybe 5 years ago, so she came into the company and currently is still on a part-time basis, but she's one of our consultants. So in our team, we have a team of consultants as well, right? Some of them are with us on a consistent basis, but some consultants are engaged with us on project basis. So let's talk about weak ties. And I mentioned earlier that weak ties are your acquaintances, right? Who could actually be a business partner or a strategic alliance. You can form strategic alliance with another company, but when you build relationship with other companies, it is actually building relationship with the people in those companies, right? So the companies are not void of people. So people are the center or at the core of any company, right? People. So the owners, the management team, the employees, so they make up an organization. So when you have a relationship with other companies, it means that you have to build the relationship with people in those companies. And according to the theory of social networks, it is said that weak ties acquaintances through collaborations, to partnerships, and through your network, whether you are in an association or a consortium, that you are that weak ties can actually help to shape opportunities, right? So you need the strong ties, your friends and family, for the emotional support, the mental health, to be happy, to maintain your physical health as well. That emotional support comes from the family, but in my case, I have the support of my family and my colleagues within the organizations that I built or that I've been building. But at the same time, I do have relationship with other people who own other companies, right? And with them, I identify, shape, and capture new business opportunities as well. So what the theory says is true, but what I'd like to highlight is that, like employees, employees come and go, right? Employees come and go. So similarly, partners also, business partners or collaborators or firms that you develop strategic alliance with, they also come and go. So again, at the core, at the foundation is trust. So you need to develop that trust. And you need to, if you want the partnership or the weak ties to help or to assist in identifying opportunities, you need to have a strategic plan together. I call it strategic partnership plan. You need to sit down with your partners and develop or formulate a strategic partnership plan. Because if you just form a collaboration, you sign an MOU, right? Or sign a letter of intent, you won't get much if you do not really sit down and plan together. And the planning is not just for 1 year. You should plan for at least 3 years, right? Strategic partnership plan for 3 years, right? So with that strategic plan, then you can benefit, you can leverage more efficiently, more effectively with your network, right? So if you just form a partnership and then you sign an MOU, but there's no planning on what are the activities that both or all the organizations within the partnership is going to do or is going to pursue, then nothing much will happen, right? So this is what I mean by partners come and go, right? They come and go, like employees come and go, right? So similarly. So again, it is about building relationship, and at the foundation is trust. So this is example of our weak ties. You can see that we have ties or we have relationships and partnerships, not just within Malaysia, but also outside of Malaysia. So we've been working very hard to build this affiliation or strategic partnership and alliances. We've been working very hard. People don't really see this, but this is also a value. These are also values being created, right? We see collaboration and partnerships as valuable, as invaluable, and would be able to benefit and create sustainable impact. But you need to work on it, like your relationship with friends. You need to invest in the relationship. You need to spend time. You need to make efforts. So similarly, with companies, strategic partnership with companies, with other companies, with other organizations, you need to invest in terms of your sweat, the work that needs to be put in, the efforts that you need to put in. So it's not easy, it's challenging because different people may have different dreams, different agenda, different interests. So it's a matter of how you bring people together, how you bring your partners together, to speak and discuss, to iterate about what we need to do together collaboratively. And then we put up a plan, and then we work in terms of implementing the plan together collaboratively. Okay, so like I said, building networks, building partnerships, collaboration, strategic alliances, you can call it those terms, right? It requires persistence, right? It requires efforts. But we believe that this is what we need to do, right? Because if let's say you start as a startup, your size is small, your resources are limited, not many things that you can do, right? Because in order for you to get investors to fund your company or to get bankers to provide you with debt financing facilities, you need to show that your company is able to sell the product, meaning that you need to start your operation in a small scale, in a startup scale, and then develop the product which meets the requirements or the needs or the demand of your customers. You need to really know who your customers are, right? Your target market or the market segment that you are targeting, you must be very clear about who your target market is or what is your target market. And within that target market, there could be multiple segments. So you need to really identify what is the market segment that you are targeting at. And you need to build traction. Traction means you need to create demand from the target market. You need to be able to sell your product or your service, generate revenue. Even though you can only generate little at the beginning, but it is important to validate your business concept, to validate your business model, and the obvious way of validating your business model or your business concept is to be able to sell, meaning that you prove or you validate that there is a demand, right? There is a demand. So it is important for you to prove there is a demand for your product or for your venture, because if there is no demand, then you are actually taking a high risk, right? So when we say that in entrepreneurship we take risks, actually we are supposed to manage risks, because there will always be risks. Even if we are not doing business, if we work in other organizations, there is still risk, right? So what we need to do, what we need to condition our mind is how do we manage risk, right? How do we manage risk? And in business, the first risk that you need to manage is the risk of not having any demand for your product or your service, right? So that is the first risk that you need to manage. If you are able to manage that risk, then you will be able to continue with your business, right? So remember, your first risk, the first risk that need to be managed is demand, whether there is demand for your product or your service. right? So don't worry too much of whether you need to have a website, whether you need to have an office, whether you need to have you need to register your business at the Companies Commission of Malaysia. Don't be too worried about that, right? What you must worry first, what you must focus first, is to validate validate the market, test the market for your product or service, whether there is a market or not, whether there is demand or not, because that is the first risk that you need to manage, right? And I can say all that because I went through that journey, right? I went through that journey, and I've learned through failures, right? So uh, So this is one of the key takeaway from my failures, right? That I want to share with all of you, which is about managing risk. Entrepreneurship is about managing risk, right? So so bear that in mind, right? So again, we've been building all this an ecosystem for investment as well as for innovation. So we've created partnerships, collaborations with many types of organizations, be it universities, government agencies, industry players, family businesses, not just in Malaysia, but also outside of Malaysia. Right. So as maybe some of you are next generation leaders, potential leaders of family businesses. Maybe some of you are starting from zero, meaning you are the founder of the venture that you are going to shape. Some of you may be a co-founder. You may want to be a co-founder or a team member of a startup or of a venture, or to be employees within employees for organizations, for institutions, right? So whatever that you want to be, right? Whether you want to work for others, or whether you want to have your own business, or whether you want to continue your family businesses, you need to develop your emotional intelligence, right? So this is something that perhaps you will not learn so much from the textbook, from your studies, from your formal studies, right? But this is very important, right? And it is important also in developing or building your networks. It is also important for you, for yourself, to have emotional intelligence, right? Because then you will be able to persist, to have that persistence, to have perseverance in your pursuit of entrepreneurship or venture building, right? So you can see from the slides, there are many studies that have been conducted, and some of the studies have found that people who work for emotionally intelligent managers and leaders choose to give more than what is asked of them in their job. Recently, the dean of your business school, Professor Mark, published a paper from a study which was conducted, if I'm not mistaken, in the US. So he collaborated with other researchers, and they found that, and that study is related to emotional intelligence, and they found that if two people in a same organization have emotional intelligence, then the organization will perform 2 times better than organizations that lack or that have people who lack emotional intelligence, right? So many studies have found the benefits and importance of emotional intelligence. So this is something that you can build, right? So emotional intelligence have several dimensions which include self-awareness, empathy, self-management, meaning you are able to manage your anger, your frustration, and this ties with mental health, right? So do your best to learn about it and also to practice it. So last but not least, I'd like to share some of the events that took place for us. Signing of MOUs with, we have signed with Sunway University. We have signed with other companies, with foundations like Selangor Foundation and so on. So we have signed MOUs, and these are institutions, organizations that have continued to they continue to build the relationship with us. And as I mentioned earlier, building relationship, building networks is very challenging. It takes a lot of time, effort. So you need to put in the effort. Another activity, an important activity which is conducted annually that we've been doing, Bina Pavo has been organizing, and this is to develop the family business community around Asia Pacific. So we are trying to assist and develop family businesses in particular to build their legacies, to build continuity, to be sustainable, and so on. So we have been organizing a summit which is called Asia Pacific Family Business Summit since 2021. So this is on the slide, you will see the people who participated in APFBS. The short form of Asia Pacific Family Business Summit is APFBS. So for 2021, these are the people who participated, who came to speak. You can see that in this summit, we get the family business owners and their next generation, as particularly their next generation, generation 2, generation 3, to come and share in terms of knowledge, in terms of the learning that they have gained through their journey, entrepreneurial journey, as well as the journey of developing their family businesses, and also to network, right? Because we want to see more family businesses collaborating with one another, right? So that's why we are building a community which is called Family Business Circle. So it is a network of family businesses who come to our summit, but at the same time, these are the family businesses that we have kept in terms of relationship. There is trust, there is a safe place for family businesses to come together at our summit, as well as on our platform, which is called Family Business Circle. So in 2022, so these are the faces, the people who participated in APFBS 2022. In 2022, Sunway University, in particular, Sunway Business School became our knowledge partner, right? 2022. Then in 2023, Sunway Business School again became our knowledge partner, right? So these are the people that you can see participating in our summit. And there's Mary Brown, the generation 2 of Mary Brown, generation 2 of Secret Recipe came to our summit. And on the 19th of November, we'll be organizing the 4th Asia Pacific Families Business Summit with the theme Family Wealth and Investments, Empowering Family Stewardship and Investing in Future Generations. So Sunway University, in particular Sunway Business School, is again our knowledge partner. So we have other partners, right? Our media partner is Kumpulan Karangkraf or Karangkraf Group. They have 2 newspapers, Sinar Harian and Sinar Daily, right? And there are our partners supporting partners from Malaysia and outside of Malaysia. So the theme, why we chose family wealth as a theme, is because that we define family wealth as not only financial wealth, not only financial capital. So family wealth consists of human capital, intellectual capital, social capital, which is network relationship with outside the family business, with customers, with suppliers, with the government. So that is the social capital that family businesses need to develop as well. So human capital, intellectual capital, social capital, and financial capital, these are the capital that make up the family wealth. So it's not just financial, right? It's not just about money, right? So last but not least, I'd like to share that Dr. Shehnaz and Dr. Syed Morirul is going to conduct a masterclass in the summit together with a generation 2 of Karangkraf Group. She is Farah Husamuddin, daughter of the owner, right? And the masterclass is titled Managing Emotions and Relationships in Family Businesses, which is, I would say, related to the topic that we are discussing. So I'd like to invite all of you to come to our summit. Yes, there is a ticket that you have to buy, a fee that you have to pay to become a participant and attend this summit. But we can give you a preferential rate because you are students of our partner, Sunway University, Sunway Business School. So you are students. So we understand, and you can inform me maybe through Dr. Shehnaz if you'd like to attend and to obtain the preferential rate or ticket, special price ticket from us to attend this summit. So this is a 1-day summit, only 1 day, but you will be meeting entrepreneurs, industry practitioners, and family businesses, owners, and their next generation leaders and managers and employees as well. So it's a good platform for you to network for yourself, for your own venture, for your family businesses, if you have one. And at the same time, please escalate or forward this information to your parents, to your siblings who have businesses, who are doing family businesses, but also who maybe your relatives, your family members, or your friends are doing, are lawyers or accountants, because we need all these people as well, accountants, lawyers, wealth planners, financial advisors, investors, venture capitalists, private equity firms, estate planning firms. We need all that. We need all that profession to be part of our network, to be part of the family business circle, to ensure the well-being, the cohesiveness, the continuity of building the legacy of the family business, as well as the legacy of the family of wealth. Right? So with that, I pass back to Dr. Shehnaz if there is any question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moho, for a wonderful sharing session. So I would like to invite the students if they have any question. Yes, students, do you have any question? You can please type your question in the chat. Dr. Moher, I have one question before we take the questions from the students.
Sure.
During pandemic, how did you manage the challenge? And what about the relationship with your employees? How was that going on? Because it was really very stressful situation for every business, right? So
Yes.
can you please share any story what happened in Bina Pavo and then how you managed that crisis? Yeah.
So I think during the pandemic, I think everyone understands, because we are a small boutique family business advisory firm. Therefore, uh, at that time during the COVID, it was fortunate for us that we didn't need to let go anyone because our consultants were engaged when there is a project. So when there's no project, so we don't need to engage them. So our consultants may also be working elsewhere. So they have their income, let's say their fixed income from other places. And especially in the first year of the pandemic, we focus on doing webinars, right? Webinars. So we still continue our marketing and branding. I think at that time we did a lot of webinars. The first year of COVID. That's how we ensure there is brand visibility. So we took time because we couldn't do anything else. We couldn't go out. We couldn't. And then through the webinars, I think in 2021. So 2020 we did a lot of webinars. 2021 we decided to organize the first summit, which was fully virtual. So it was fully virtual and it was attended by close to 200 people all over Asia Pacific. So that was to us, it was very successful because we were able to conduct our first summit fully virtual, right? And then we got and it was for 2 days, fully virtual for 2 days because people couldn't go out. So they were able to focus on our first summit. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So yes, students, do you have any question?
So okay, there's
Yeah,
one
I get
question
one question. Yeah,
from Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Dr. Mohan, have this business at Bina Pavo affected your relationship between you and your family? Example like internal company conflict and such.
Okay, good question. Yes, you know, even with my family members, we do have differences in terms of opinions, right? Having differences in opinions is good because then you have diversity in terms of opinions. And our family members also may come from different background. You know, they, uh, in the case of my wife, we have similar background in terms of studies, but my wife had more exposure, more experience in the private sector, outside of our family business or outside of academia. So she was with a large companies before. She worked with large companies before, so she has been able to bring in that perspective into our family business. Okay, and interestingly, our son Emilio, he studied creative writing. No, the program that he took in the US at Iowa University was Bachelor of English in creative writing, and he minored in cinema. So when he came back, before he joined the family business, he was working with several media companies. At the beginning, when he came back, we thought that he's not interested to join our family business. But uh, surprisingly to us, 3 years ago, he decided to join the family business. And again, he brought in a different perspective into the family business because of his background, because of his competencies. So he bring in different skill sets into the business. So you may have different skill sets. Your family members may have different skill sets, may have differences in opinions. They may have different experience. So that's why it is good, especially for the next generation, to get some exposure working in other companies before you join the family business. So that has to be part of the succession planning, right? So succession planning needs to be done as early as possible. You cannot wait until the founder is old or the current generation is old, then only you want to initiate succession planning. Succession planning for the family needs to be done as soon as possible, right? And it has to be part of the family strategic planning, right? So we do have differences. We do sometimes have conflicts, but because of our, I think one of our advantage is because we are highly intelligent in terms of our emotion. You know, we have high emotional intelligence. So empathy, right? Empathy within family members, I think that is the thing that continuously bring us together in harmony, in unity, right? For the especially in the family business, families in business, they need to have that. Yes, high EQ, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, right? Ryan, thank you. Right.
Yes, Dr. Mohar, Ryan himself is a second gen of the family business. His mother has the pet business. Yeah. So he's helping his mother in promoting the
So
family
Ryan,
business as well.
yeah, I'd like to just add to Ryan for Ryan. So don't be too stressed or to have that the uneasiness in terms of your feelings when you have differences of opinions with your parents or your mother, right? That's normal. That's normal. It's part of the dynamics of a family business, right? But you need to develop the communication, communication, more effective communication, and it helps to have EQ or EI, right? So you need to learn how to communicate with your parents or with your mother, right? So I cannot teach you now, but if you like, then we can speak, we can discuss about it, because there is a way for you to develop this communication with your parents or with your father or your mother, especially those who are in family business.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohar. Yes, students, I will take another last question if anyone has. Is there any last question? No question. Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Mohar, for your time and for
You're
sharing the
welcome.
session. And I will let you know if any student will be interested to join the summit on 19 November. And especially for the family businesses, students, I will strongly encourage you to do some networking with Dr. Mohar through the LinkedIn and also connect him there. So if you will have any question, feel free to message him on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good evening, everyone. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye-bye. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
Miss.